Hello, I'm Sora Luxon, and this is Magic lesson number 72. I think we're at 72. Getting back to Magic because I haven't been here for a while. To begin, my gratitude to all of you for your beautiful letters and messages while I've been away, a constant source of inspiration and aware experiences shared, this information that we download to each other. It gives me too so much amazing room and vibrancy to evolve from, insight, and to evolve with. There is no master who is not also a student, or there shouldn't be. So if you're around them, maybe don't spend so much time around that person. So it's a sacred privilege and an honor to learn from all of you. And this isn't a one-way street, the spiral path. And so, as I usually do, I have to express, I feel very driven to express my thanks and my love to all of you who walk that spiral path in any way, big or small, with or without me. How often in Instagram messages does a fellow initiate or a bright eyed novice speak of that loneliness felt or glimpsed just beyond the borders of this occult landscape we get to share in communion with each other, and how fortunate, how blessed we are to linger in these golden plains of co-created awareness together. It's a strange family we make in the craft. So many of us never even meeting. There's so many of us that never come together with any others, even in our own backgrounds, while yet exchanging energy, information, insight, pure current, like a thumbprint of individuation to be embraced and known as separate yet not separate. We feel it, we respond to it. It's a weirding family, perhaps, within the occult, but still, whether cabal, born of Buddhahood, or shoved forward into the group by one of those cardinal way watchers like Mikael, all fire and feathers, we know ourselves to be linked. Not only a heritage of time and knowledge, journeymen who light the road within temporal space, but even more, to know each other in the namaste sense, signals of power and purpose and such personality beyond this place and within it. How strong we are, how beautifully, gloriously flawed we are, how persistent and compassionate. We are none of us alone in magic. In the deepest dark, we sense that connection. Through our daily lives, we hear a voice and know it to be a friend. So it's a strong family, yes. And we are never, never alone, even when we're totally physically alone, even when we can't talk about our great work to anyone around us because of maybe vows or the threats of culture, of condition, of casual cruelty. Even when we can't ever practice a spell aloud or in a coven group or share a ritual with others in person in a fraternal order, we all belong to a community that has our backs. And so our strength, our energy is endless, even when we might wish it wasn't. Side note, really quick. Yes, I have been out of touch for about 3 months. There haven't been any videos during that time. A lot of people are asking about it. I can only say to my more anxious friends, novices, other listeners, there's been a lot going on in the world. You'd literally have to be under a rock, like buried, so that you're not aware of this temporal causation that's going on around all of us. You'd have to be under a headstone to not know that there's a lot going on in the world right now. There always is, but certain flashpoints require steady hands on the wheel to chart new courses, or to find new, gentler currents that allow for, if nothing else, time. Temporal and short game plan, seemingly inconsequential as it may be, time while alive here for any and all of those who might find the way to be allowed such a chance to, if they choose to. Ignorance is a pervasive enemy. And although I do hope these little videos give another choice, another option for listeners to seek out, sometimes more than speaking in the safety of quietude, which is what I'm doing now, is required of us. And more has been required of me over the last 3 months. There have been a lot of spiritual battles. There have been a lot of battles on a lot of fronts. For the wise to keep ignorance at arm's length from the whole lately. Let me put it that way and stop there. I've been busy. I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone of upper orders among my order who hasn't at the very least been spending 4 to 5 times as much time in ritual. Because, how to put this, to pull and direct power, if not entirely having their days taken up with physical necessary taskings of service first. So if you're not actually involved in taskings, then you're definitely sitting there doing rituals or meditating nonstop for the greater good. But now that things have calmed a bit for the moment, here I am right back to this channel because I know and value its importance and my obligation to it and to those who may in synchronicity stumble upon it, especially for those who may not have other options safely available to them in order to share the experience of their magical training. So I'm going to blast through some questions from listeners that have piled up while I was away, and I will get back to more focused lessons next week. Very first question, what is the best incense from your shop to calm down? That's a very personalized choice. For my part, I find myrrh and sandalwood to be the best for calming myself down, for inducing a lower heart rate and less troubled waters mentally, in a safe and enclosed space. I don't think I have that in the shop right now. In my shop, I would suggest probably green tea and cucumber, which is one of the scents from the Ancient Remedies pack, or perhaps vanilla, which I think is in Ancient Remedies as well. Both are very relaxing scents. The vanilla is more of a warm, soothing, comforting scent. A lot of us take it for granted just how much of an effect it can have on our conscious and subconscious self. The green tea cucumber is very light and clean. It's a little more of an Eastern remedy, but it's not bright. It's not invigorating. So again, it's calming, like cucumber water after a wonderful massage, or like being in the clean, brisk air and breathing deeply on the top of a green hillside outdoors. Whereas the vanilla would be more like being by a warm, crackling fire inside on a rainy day. So both of those I would find calming, or I would suggest to others for their calming attributes. As for the myrrh and sandalwood, I personally choose, which again, I don't think it's available in my online shop just now. But you can find wonderful variations of those origin scents just about anywhere. Any mystic scent shop that knows its history and doesn't want to get laughed out of the room is going to have these two scents available. Sandalwood especially, myrrh too, but how can I put it? As you progress in magic, certain things items really begin to resonate with your energetic body. And that in itself becomes the calm a practitioner would be seeking. Almost the clean environment you make a mental beeline for when you need to recharge and self-soothe, perhaps. So that's why I would choose those. But any four of the scents I've just discussed, those would be my personal recommendation. All four of them are well-known, ancient, traditional, occult, olfactory remedies, along with the lavender. But there are others, and it is a highly personalized thing. Your memories and the way scent works with the mind is so based in experience. So try different things and then use what allows you the most calm. Experiment. Next question. Do I need a formal initiation? I practice alone and have wandered on this path, which is working, but I wonder if I'm missing something. Excuse my voice. I have water here, but there has been a lot going on. A lot of talking. But if I'm going to give up my voice, it should be for this video along with those other things, because this is just as important. So I'm wondering if I'm missing something. I practice alone, have wandered on this path, which is working, but I wonder if I'm missing something. Well, yes, you are missing something. You're missing practicing with others in an organized format. As for whether or not you personally need a formal practice within a larger body of individuals, that's part of your journey, of your experience to find out whether or not you need or want it. As for needing a formal initiation, yes and no. No and yes. They help. Formal initiations do help, no matter whether or not you need or want it. They're helpful. As for needing it, no. Okay, let me put it this way. No matter the mystery school involved, whatever background you're hailing from, an initiation, sort of like having the person in a locked building open the door for you and then bring you into the mezzanine, it's going to change to stimulate maybe even for the first time actually animate your energetic body to have that invitation and then that ushering in. I'm a little out of practice with these self-dialogue videos, so excuse me if I'm repeating myself. There are perks to not doing a formal initiation, but there are perks to doing a formal initiation as well. If you're doing a lone initiation with yourself, you're going to be very focused. You must be very self-driven. But if you're doing a formalized initiation, you not only get the training of the wise, hopefully if you're getting to rub elbows with them in the school you've devoted yourself to, if it's worthy, they should be there. But also the environment itself created and shared spatial experience and time. And again, I think I've mentioned this before, those pools of power, you are then given some leave to work with or possibly bathe in. The formal nature of realized practice as well tends to keep some people on track who might not otherwise feel the motivation to do so. It nudges them. It rubs those harsh angles down to a smoother sphere of collaborative effort and self-awareness, self-knowledge, just being around other people that are involved in the same tasking. Some types of mastery only come forward to present themselves as a challenge, as an obstacle to then be obtained in the self when we share certain experience with others. And there's other reasons as well for being part of a formalized practice and going through a formal initiation. So yes, in those ways, a formal initiation, if done correctly, and even more so if prepared for by the observant, by the novice correctly, is going to be necessary to have all those effects I just listed. This is kind of a confusing answer. So that being said, you also have to take into account, but this is a huge but, not always. There are lone magi who do not require this formatting on their path. They come into pools of power and knowledge with the ability to hone and apply them wisely, quite naturally, sometimes spontaneously. They're able to seek out wisdom and ongoing hermitage. They're able to come into realizations, sometimes beyond the veil, and then bring those realizations back to others without any formalized practice or initiation for themselves within their lifetime here. So that's a reality as well. And doing any formalized tradition or series of rituals of daily meditative practice, even if when you're alone, that is a formal initiation of a kind. It's just that you're doing it alone. But you are being formally initiated through those practices that you're undertaking into an organized series of traditions, of power, the same steps in an initiation process that would be used on an individual coming under the purview of an order or a master teacher or a guru. Those are the same steps you're applying sometimes. So in that way, you can, and many truly do, initiate their energetic bodies into a formal structure or tradition totally alone. They do it themselves, without any spontaneous knowledge needing to come down or without any group being needed in that process. So this question, do I need a formal initiation? I feel like I'm missing something. It's your journey. When something feels right to you, you will or won't seek out whatever next avenue of learning and experience and growth is next. And it will come next or won't. You will or won't seek it out. No one knows better than you what you need. No one. Not me, not anyone else. Know thyself. No one knows better than you what's going to work best for you, how to apply it for the best results for yourself. But along with that, remember our tendency towards personal biases. It never hurts to be aware that good advice comes in many forms, often unexpected forms, often forms we've biased ourselves against. And if our minds are already made up, we've already lost the battle of conscious free choice. So be open, look with new eyes at each thing, and then decide. It sounds so simple. It really takes training. If you wake in the morning and look at your let's say you have a meditative daily morning practice that you do, yoga perhaps, and you look at your meditative mental physical practice with new eyes, totally clean eyes, like it's a whole new experience that you've never tried before, and you're reevaluating it, but you're actually evaluating it very clearly for the first time, and you still come to the conclusion for yourself that this is right and working for you to do this ritual every day, that it's allowing space and evolution. Maybe it's a Zen practice like monastic cleaning, chores, I don't know. But whatever it is, if you're able to look at it with an unbiased perspective and then come back to that same conclusion that this is where you should be and what you should be doing, then do that. If a formal tradition leaps out at you, or a specific mystery school piques your interest, or maybe presents itself to you, then look at it with new eyes. Again, we all fall to bias. We all love those grooves, those channels we've dug so deeply in ourselves of habitual mental status. Try to jump out of that channel just so you can be on a level plane and see what's really going on. So in that scenario, I would say don't allow years of lone magical practice that you might have been doing to shut you off or shut you down immediately in a biased way against a new possibility like a formal order, or to make you hyper needy, perhaps dependent, vulnerable to a new thing for the sake of novelty. That could happen as well. Each time, I would say, just look at the option clearly with new eyes. Whatever you're doing or not doing yet, look at the choice. Seek for a lack of bias within yourself, and then decide if whatever it is you may or may not offer yourself would serve you best in your journey. That's the best heart-centered chakra advice I would give myself, to middle pillar all my decision-making processes, So middle pillar all of your decisions. Consider the balance. And be mindful, you're not always right. And generally you think you are. We all do it, and we're not. And life opens so gracefully, so empoweringly. So I can't even, it's a different world when you actually apply your rational understanding of not always thinking you already know the answer to IRL, to in real life situations. I mean, do you actually like the taste of candy? Or do you just think you do because you were denied it when you were physically younger at peak emotional events? See, it's a whole different reality that you can come into when you apply conscious rationality to the unconscious daily habits we take on actively in the physical world. There is a whole new world when you actually begin asking yourself some of these questions internally to seep into your actions externally. And we all do it. We're mammals. We're conditioned to do it. It takes years of training to come to a place to understand that we're doing it. We all have a tendency to think we're looking for answers when we're not yet even asking useful questions. And that is part of the beautiful process of us experiencing the all, yes, albeit ineptly and innocently, naively clumsy in our attempts early on, and then usually again later on. If you immediately know the candlelight is fire, then the meal was cooked long ago. Until next time.